Okay, call the meeting for April 13th, 2026 of the Republic Planning and Zoning Commission to order. First item of business would be the calling the roll.
Commissioner Alexander.
Here.
Commissioner Crosby.
Here.
Commissioner Chairman Ellis.
Was that me?
Yeah.
Here? I can't hear.
Commissioner Mann. Commissioner Copeland.
Here.
Commissioner Hyder. Commissioner DeBrava.
Here.
Commissioner Means. Here.
Thank you. Next item of business is the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any changes to the agenda that need to be made before we approve it?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Copeland.
Aye.
Commissioner Hyder. Chairman Ellis.
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby.
Aye.
Commissioner Means. Aye. Commissioner DeBrava.
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander.
Aye.
Is that it? Good. Next item of business is the look at the minutes and approve the minutes if they're satisfactory. These would be the minutes of the March 9, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the March 9, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Please call the roll.
Chairman Ellis.
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby.
Aye.
Commissioner Copeland.
Aye.
Commissioner Means. Aye. Commissioner Alexander.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava.
Aye.
Okay, next item of business is we have two public hearings and other business. Chris, are you going to read the meeting procedures for everyone, please?
The Planning and Zoning Commission holds public hearings as required by law and provides recommendations to City Council on all matters relating to land use planning, zoning, and the subdivision of land. Any person who has an interest in the subject matter of a hearing will have the opportunity to provide testimony and present evidence to the Planning and Zoning Commission during the public hearing. Speakers are required to conduct themselves in an orderly and respectful manner. Disruptive behavior, including applause, yelling, speaking out of turn, or other inappropriate behaviors, will not be tolerated. Additionally, the following applies to any person addressing the Commission. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes unless authorized additional time by the chairperson. Speakers must speak at the lectern unless previous arrangements have been made by the chairperson. Speakers must legibly print their names and address on the sign-in sheet at the lectern prior to speaking. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address. Speakers should speak clearly and into the microphone. The chairperson will announce the subject of the hearing, followed by a report from staff. The chairperson will then open the public hearing to the applicant, followed by those in favor of the application, and then those opposed to the application. The chairperson will close the public hearing during this time. The commission will discuss amongst themselves. The public may not address the commission after the close of the public hearing unless requested by the chairperson. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall base their recommendation and/or decision on information and evidence presented during the public hearing. This decision, if required by the application, will be forwarded in writing to City Council for further consideration.
Thank you, Chris. I'll call the first public hearing. That's a rezone. REZN 26-001, public hearing and possible recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 78 acres located at 1605 South Farm Road 97 from Planned Development District PDD to Agricultural AG. Chris, are you giving the report? Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Tabor, Principal Planner. Joe Roetta has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 78.42 acres of property located at 1605 South Farm Road 97 from Planned Development District to Agricultural. The property subject to the rezoning district, or to the rezoning application, is currently zoned as part of the Eclipse Event Center Planned Development District, PDD. The applicant wishes to bring the zoning back into conformance with the use and character of the property as Agricultural AG. This subject property was rezoned as part of a previous effort to develop the Eclipse Event Center, an equine arena show space of approximately 900 acres. While this development was never completed, but did result in the rezone of this land and other properties. By rezoning to Agricultural AG, the property owners will be able to pursue typical processes and operations in line with that zoning district. The city's comprehensive plan generally encourages the expansion of commercial development through proactive rezoning of land at appropriate locations. Appropriate locations are generally described throughout the plan with regard to the relationship of land at particular locations to infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. The comprehensive plan and land use plan identifies land use goals and objectives relating to development, including the following: coordination with infrastructure, and Objective 1B, to promote development aligning with current adopted plans of the city. The intensity of uses should match the capacity of infrastructure to serve the use. The general trend of development in the vicinity of the subject property has been agricultural residential, with minimal development occurring in the area. The subject property is surrounded by Greene County zoned agricultural A1 and agricultural residence AR to the north, across Farm Road 144. General commercial C2 property to the east across Farm Road 97. More Eclipse Event Arena Planned Development District PDD zoned property to the south, and Greene County zoned agricultural A1 property to the west. The agricultural zoning district is intended for single-family residential development within the city limits that are not yet served by City of Republic water and sewer infrastructure, as well as agricultural or agricultural-related uses. The property is greater than a mile away from the city's water and/or sewer infrastructure, making it an appropriate area for the requested zoning district. Water and sewer are expected to extend to the property at some point in the future through gradual development subsequent through adjacent developments. A traffic impact study was not required due to the intensity of the requested zoning district. The floodplain is not contained on this subject parcel. The subject parcel does not contain any identified sinkholes. Staff considers the proposed zoning map amendment, rezone, to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive plan, consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be adequately served by municipal facilities. Based upon this analysis, performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff recommends the approval of this application.
Thank you, Chris. First order here is the applicant or the representative. No, is this a city thing?
No, it's not a city thing. In this, the applicant is out of the state,
Okay.
so they've made this request.
So then we'll go to anyone who is in favor of the application and wishes to speak. Please come forward and tell us who you are and tell us what you want us to know, preferably about the property. No one coming forward. I'll take next anyone who is here who wishes to speak and is opposed to the application. No one coming forward. I'll close the hearing and we will discuss.
The purpose of this is just to get it out of a PDD so that it can be redeveloped or rezoned in the future aspects.
So right now, the property you can't do anything that you could do. You couldn't apply for a building permit that we could grant because the zoning district does not allow for the use that's currently going on the property. So they want to bring that in conformance so they can, potentially In this case, I believe they'd like to look at whether they can split off a portion of the land that's the house and then just separate that from the greater piece of land.
Okay.
Any other thoughts from the commission? Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
Okay. I have a motion to approve the recommendation, or recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 78 acres located at 1605 South Farm Road 97 from Planned Development District, PDD, to agricultural. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Means?
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby?
Aye.
Chairman Ellis?
Aye.
Commissioner Copeland?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava?
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander?
Aye.
Okay. Next public hearing, PDD 26-001. Public hearing and possible vote to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 5.08 acres located at the 900 block of South Colorado Avenue from Frisco Square amended Plan Development District Phase 2, PDD 25-002, to Frisco Commons, PDD 26-002. Chris?
Thank you. I'm going to preface this before I read this report by saying this is similar in nature to the one that we did at the previous meeting, where we looked at an existing planned development district, and the applicant is requesting what is a minor change to that existing plan. So, and I'll cover what that change is. Westward Land Co. LLC has applied to change the zoning classification of approximately 5.08 acres of property located at the 900 block of Colorado Avenue from Frisco Square amended Phase 2 Plan Development District, PDD, to Frisco Commons First Edition, PDD 26-002. The property subject to this rezoning application is comprised, again, of approximately 5.08 acres, and the property is currently undeveloped. The applicant is proposing the rezoning of the subject property to Frisco Commons First Edition Planned Development District, PDD 26-002, a residential mixed-use development consisting of multifamily dwellings and zero-lot line single-family residential lots. The request is a single change to the density of Area B of the existing plan. If the proposed plan is approved, the density for Area B would go from a total of 16 units over the 2.01 acres to 20 units over the 2.01 acres, which is a total dwelling unit over acre ratio of 9.95. The proposed development plan will allow for 20 zero-lot line single-family residential lots and, if approved, 20 multifamily dwelling units. The development plan also contains new water, sanitary sewer, and associated stormwater systems to support the development. Specifically, the proposal includes the following elements. Area 1 consists of attached single-family residential with a total acreage of 3.06 acres, a density of 6.54 dwelling units per acre, and the permitted uses are limited to zero lot line, single-family residential zoning district uses. The setbacks are front 25 feet, rear 25 feet, side yard shared lot line only, 0 feet, and side yard 10 feet on the non-shared lot line. The lot size is a minimum area of 5,000 square feet with a minimum width of 35 feet and a minimum depth of 115 feet. On Area 2, the multifamily residential, total acreage is 2.01 acres, and the density would be 9.95 dwelling units per acre for a total of 20 units over the 2.01 acres. The permitted uses would be in line with the multifamily residential zoning district. The setbacks would be front 15 feet, rear 15 feet, and side 15 feet. And screening type A, screening would be required between adjacent properties. The subject property is currently zoned as part of the amended Frisco Square Phase 2 Plan Development District, and the current PDD allows for a mix of uses. In this particular case, Area 1 is the same exact, there's no change to Area 1. So Area 1 is the same single-family attached residential, which is 20 lots over 3.06 acres, with the same setbacks of 25 in the front, 25 in the rear, 0 on the side yard shared lot line, and then 10 feet on the non-shared lot line. The minimum area is the same, 5,000 square feet, and the minimum width is 35 feet, and the minimum depth is 150. On the existing, what's there today, what's currently approved, Area 2 is multifamily residential, 2.101 acres, with a density of 7.96 dwelling units per acre, which is 16 units over the 2 acres. The permitted uses of Area 2 are multifamily residential, and the setbacks are the same of 15 feet in the front, 15 feet in the rear, 15 feet on the side. The purpose of the planned development regulation is to allow for mixed-use, unconventional, or innovative arrangements of land which would be difficult to develop under the conventional land use and development regulations of the city. Planned unit developments must demonstrate substantial congruence with each of the following conditions in order to be eligible for approval. They shall involve a mixture or variation of land uses or densities. This development district contains a residential density not otherwise available within the city's currently adopted zoning districts. The proposed development plan shall involve the provision of all infrastructure deemed necessary to adequately serve the potential development. The development plan includes provisions for municipal water, sewer services, a plan for stormwater management, and access to adjacent streets. The proposed development plan shall involve design elements that promote the City of Republic's comprehensive plan and other plans of the city. The comprehensive plan and land use plan promotes the expansion of residential development and locations supported by the city's water, sanitary, sewer, and transportation. This planned development district can be adequately supported by the city's capacities for water, sewer, and transportation. The proposed development plan shall involve design elements intended to lessen congestion in the streets, to secure safety from fire, panic, and other dangers, to promote health and the general welfare, to provide adequate light and air, to prevent the overcrowding of land, to avoid undue concentration of population, to preserve features of historical significance, to facilitate the adequate provision of transportation, water, sewerage, schools, parks, and other public improvements. The planned development district proposal includes the construction of sidewalks furthering connectivity throughout the city and proposes a reduced density that does not cause undue concentration of population and facilities and facilitates the capacity to serve existing water and sewer infrastructure. The city's comprehensive plan and land use plan generally encourages the expansion of residential development through proactive rezoning of land at appropriate locations. Appropriate locations are described generally throughout the plan with regard to the relationship of land at particular locations to infrastructure capable of supporting various intensities and densities of uses. The comprehensive plan and land use plan identifies land use goals and objectives relating to the development. Goal 1, to support market conditions to develop a greater variety of residential options. Objective 1B, to support a variety of housing developments and styles to ensure a range of options are available. Goal 1, under coordination of infrastructure, support new development well connected to the existing community. Objective 1A, encourage development that provides and expands upon existing infrastructure. And Objective 1B, to promote development aligning with currently adopted plans of the city. Goal 2, to recognize potential infill sites as opportunities for development while mitigating impacts to adjacent established properties. Objective 1A, to support the development of vacant parcels as opportunities for densification harmonious with surrounding development. The subject site is surrounded by existing vacant commercial zone properties and developed or vacant residential zone properties and uses. Northwest, across Civic Boulevard, is Frisco Square PDD, local commercial C1. Northeast, across Colorado Avenue, is also the Frisco Square PDD and is also local commercial C1. To the southeast is the amended Frisco Square Development Plan, single-family residential, and southwest, across Illinois Avenue, is general commercial C2. Given that the City of Republic's police station occupies one of the adjacent parcels to this property, which would be right here, the Police Chief was consulted regarding the development, and he presented no objections to the proposed plan. The land use permitted in the applicant's proposal are considered to be generally compatible with the surrounding commercial and residential zone properties and uses in proximity to the subject parcel. The subject site is in proximity to the City of Republic sanitary sewer and water service with existing connection to the east and west. Several potential connections are available for both utilities. The development will be served via a looped water system connecting to existing water mains that have points of connection to the east and west. The exact location and size of the water mains required to serve the development will be determined during the infrastructure design process. Effluent from the development would gravity to the Woodland Park lift station and then force to the Schuler Creek lift station before traveling back to the waste treatment facility. The water system, existing lift stations, and the wastewater treatment facility have sufficient capacity to serve the proposed development at full build-out. The planned development proposes connections to the following streets to facilitate circulation within the subdivision: Virginia Crescent Drive and Colorado Avenue, as well as Illinois Avenue. In accordance with policy, the applicant was required to perform a traffic impact study to analyze the impact of the traffic generated by the proposed development. The traffic impact study was then reviewed by Builds and MoDOT staff, and the results of the TIS indicate that a proposed full build-out of the development will not warrant any traffic improvements. The development plan accounts for stormwater detention through adjacent detention basins designed for the proposed development. Additional stormwater areas and/or easements may be required through the engineer design process. The stormwater retention detention areas, drainage easements, and all open space common areas will be owned and maintained by the property owners association. The subject parcel does not contain a special flood hazard area or floodplain. The subject parcel does not contain any identified sinkholes. The design and precise placement of the streets, sidewalks, water and sanitary sewer systems, and stormwater detention will be reviewed and permitted during the infrastructure permitting process. All developments must include site design providing sufficient emergency vehicle access as well as fire protection facilities. Additional elements of code compliance evaluated at the time of infrastructure design impacting the development of the subject property include but are not limited to the city's zoning regulations, adopted fire codes, and adopted building codes. The next step in the process of development of the subject parcel upon a favorable rezoning outcome would be the development, review, and approval of an infrastructure permit for the construction of utility services and roads. Staff considers the proposed zoning map amendment to be generally consistent with the goals and objectives of the comprehensive and land use plans, generally consistent with the trend of development in the vicinity of the site, generally compatible with surrounding land uses, and able to be adequately served by municipal facilities. Specifically, the proposed development can be adequately served by the city's municipal water and sanitary sewer services and the city's transportation network. Based upon this analysis performed without the benefit of evidence and testimony of a public hearing, staff is recommending the approval of the application.
Thank you. First, we would hear from the applicant or the applicant's representative. Please come forward.
Good evening. My name is Chris Wynn. I'm a civil engineer with CJW Transportation Consultants located at 5051 South National Avenue, Suite 7A, Springfield, Missouri. So very similar to what was originally approved on this property. As Chris mentioned, the only change is to the area there in the darker gray, the two larger tracks. Originally, we had planned for two 4-packs of townhomes. When we got into design and got building layouts, we realized that we could do 2 5-packs of townhomes on each lot, so 20 townhome units total between the two lots. We met with city staff as well as fire in a meeting about a month and a half ago, came over here and sat down and talked about it. Looked at the layout, made sure it was good with fire to see if there was going to be any requirements for additional fire hydrants, fire access, as well as just met with planning and engineering as well, just to make sure that the layout of the townhomes that would go on these lots worked. There was no obligations, requirement for a new fire hydrant, I believe, but that'll be taken care of during infrastructure plans. So Really, that was the goal here, was just to get an extra unit after the fact that we got into design. So total addition will be 4 units between the 2 tracks, 1 on each 4-pack to make them 5 packs of townhomes. So that's really all we have. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
There may be, when we get to the discussion part, if you'll hang out just a little bit, we'll get to you if that's the case.
Awesome, I'll be here.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who's in favor of the application who wishes to speak? Is there anyone here who is not in favor of the application? No one coming forward. I'll close that hearing, go to discussion.
Motion to approve PDD 26-001.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to recommend the approval of an application to change the zoning classification of approximately 5.08 acres located at the 900 block of South Colorado Avenue from Frisco Square amended Planned Development District Phase 2, PDD 25-002, to Frisco Commons, PDD 26-002. The number of this matter is PDD 26-001. I have a motion and, as I said, a motion and a second. We can call the roll.
Commissioner Means,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Copeland,
Aye.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item of business is other business. And we're out of our hearings. This is sub SUB D-pre 26-001. Possible vote to recommend the approval of an application for a preliminary plat for Walker Heights, a residential subdivision consisting of approximately 40.46 acres located at 7217 West Farm Road 180. Chris?
So this is a preliminary plat that was previously approved in a very similar state. It has since expired, and they've been working on infrastructure. They are coming back to get it approved again as required by the ordinance. Oak Hills E-Commerce LLC has requested review and approval of a preliminary plat of approximately 40.46 acres for Walker Heights, a subdivision consisting of 101 residential lots zoned medium-density, single-family residential, R1M, streets and infrastructure. Preliminary plats are reviewed for their conformance with the following review criteria to ensure the development in a proposed location: 1, will not endanger the public health or safety; 2, will not injure the value of adjoining property or abutting property; 3, will be in conformity with the comprehensive plan, transportation plan, zoning code, water system, master plan, wastewater system facility plan, and other plans officially adopted by the City Council; and 4, will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. Preliminary plats are reviewed by the city planner and city engineer in conformance with the requirements of Chapter 410 of Republic's Municipal Code, the comprehensive plan, and all applicable city-adopted codes and regulations. The subject property was previously preliminary platted January 11th, 2024. That plat expired earlier this year on January 10th. And the owner has come forward with a request for approval of an almost identical plat as they continue to pursue this project. The proposed preliminary plat intends to retain 2 of the existing dwellings on the property, Lot 96 and 101. So those are here and here on the plat. These will be incorporated into the subdivision with access for Lot 96 off Castleton Way and access for Lot 101 coming from Ellsmore Lane. The R1M zoning allows for minimum lot sizes of 9,000 square feet, a maximum density of 4.84 lots per acre, and setbacks of front 25 feet, a side interior of 6 feet, and a side street of 25 to 15 feet, dependent on the street classification. The rear setback is 25 feet. The reference preliminary plat contains 101 lots, each with a minimum lot size of 9,000 square feet and an average lot size of 12,554 square feet, with a density of 2.5 lots per acre. The preliminary plat also consists of streets, open space, utility and drainage easements, as well as detention areas. The preliminary plat proposes one new connection with Belmont Drive connecting to Farm Road 182. In addition, 2 previously planned connections will be built out. The stub out of Clearview Drive will continue east to connect from Phase 1 of Iron Gate, and the stub out of Arc Avenue will continue south to connect out of Phase 1 of Highland Meadows. The preliminary plat proposes 5 new streets. No lot will receive access to Farm Road 182. Constructed streets would be dedicated to the city during the final platting process. A traffic impact study was originally required in connection with this project at the time of rezoning. The traffic study concluded that no new improvements would be required by the additional trips generated. The property has 2 separate gravity sewer mains on site. A 15-inch main runs north-south on the east side of the property, and a 10-inch main is present on the southwest corner of the site. Effluent would travel through gravity lines to the Schuler Creek lift station before being pumped to the wastewater treatment facility. Water is in proximity to the site from 2 points. A 6-inch main is present along Arc Avenue and then terminates on the northern property line of the site, and a second 6-inch water main approaches from the west running along Clearview Drive. A looped connection will be provided throughout the subdivision. The water system, named lift stations, and wastewater treatment facility have capacity to serve the intended use. The preliminary plat of Walker Heights has been platted for the construction of 101 single-family residential lots with associated infrastructure. The floodplain is not present on the property. The subject parcel does not contain any special flood hazard area or floodplain. It also does not contain any identified sinkholes. The preliminary plat proposes 2 stormwater detention basins on the site, one in the southeast corner and one in the southwest corner. So you can see those are the 2 blue shaded lots there on the image. The stormwater exits from the site from each detention across Farm Road 182. The stormwater detention area and all open space common area will be maintained by a homeowners association. The design of the streets, sidewalks, water and sanitary sewer systems, and stormwater detention will be reviewed and permitted during the infrastructure permitting process. Staff considers the proposed preliminary plat in general conformity with the requirements for preliminary plats and is recommending approval of the application.
Thank you. Okay, what questions does the commission have, if any?
Is there no plan for access pointed in the eastward direction?
So they were not required to make access in the eastward direction, no.
Okay. Motion to recommend approval of sub D pre 26-001.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to recommend the approval of an application for a preliminary plat for Walker Heights residential subdivision consisting of approximately 40.46 acres located at 7217 West Farm Road 182. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Copeland,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Means. Aye. Commissioner Alexander,
Aye.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Thank you. Excuse me. Next item of business is citizen participation. This is when anyone here who wishes to share information with the commission can come forward, identify yourself, and tell us what you think we need to know. And we do not particularly interested in hearing anything about that we've had 2 hearings about and the other business with the preliminary plat. So anything else, is there anyone who wishes to come forward and speak? Yeah.
Except for Chris.
Yeah, Chris Wynn, civil engineer with CJW Transportation Consultants. I'm just actually going to request a change to the meeting minutes. The agenda, which this is March's agenda, but the April agenda does show our case that we heard earlier tonight as PDD 26001. I believe it should be PD 002, 26002.
I agree. The notation under the public hearings does show the public hearing is numbered as 26-001.
That's number
The zoning
3
label.
on there.
I'm sorry?
It's started with a number 3 on the agenda.
Yes, item number 3
All right, and,
should be PDD 26-002.
okay, one other question here, so we can wrap it up in maybe less words. There's a reference to PDD 26002 down here at the bottom. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
The zoning district is still labeled correctly as PDD 26-002.
Okay,
Thank you, Chris.
somebody make a
Chris.
motion on this.
Motion to approve change from PDD 26-001 to PDD 002 on the agenda.
On the agenda for April 13th, 2026, item 3, number 3. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Commissioner Copeland,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava,
Aye.
Commissioner Means,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander.
Aye.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to come forward and share information with us as a part of the citizen participation time? I'm going to close out on that. The only thing left is to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I got a motion to adjourn and a second. Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Copeland,
Aye.
No community engagement.
Chairman Ellis,
Aye.
Commissioner Crosby,
Aye.
Commissioner Means,
Aye.
Commissioner Alexander,
Aye.
Commissioner DeBrava.
Nay. Aye.